you know, in Maine, it's a little bit colder up there, but we did see our fair share of severe weather. There were at least 5 or 6 tornado warnings that were issued during my tenure up there, and since I've been here in Boston, I've seen about the same. It's been a very active couple of summers here in New England. If you recall, last summer we pretty much had a thunderstorm every single afternoon, and they were either producing copious amounts of rain or damaging wind, or in some cases there were tornadoes that were reported last summer. So this isn't completely uncommon. It's not unusual, but it doesn't typically happen. We average anywhere from 3 to 5 or so tornadoes across Massachusetts per summer. In New England, it's 5+, in all New England, 6 New England states. We don't typically see them last this long. We've been on the air for about an hour now. This is definitely classified as a supercell. You typically see these out in the Midwest. They hold together for miles and miles and miles, and perhaps hours. This particular storm has a warning on it for another 20 minutes. The warning is up until 8:30 this evening for the cities of Leominster, also the towns of Sterling, Lancaster, and Clinton. Jack?
Yeah, and air is right. It looks like it's also could be in harm's way with this continues to hold together. Sergeant Austin Cody of the Air Police Department is joining us now. Hear me all right, Sergeant?
Yes, I can.
What are you observing at the moment?
So far, we've had heavy rain, some moderate lightning with no strikes, no wind damage or other damage so far.
So you're not getting any calls in of people and having any serious problems in air?
So far, we've not, sir.
Yeah. What's been the word? You guys are also in touch with some of these neighboring towns. Are you hearing anything about damage at all anywhere?
Thus far, I have not.
Yeah, it was interesting. We had, I guess Ashburnham has had some sections which are really knocked down a number of trees and lightning strikes. Dark pretty much out there now?
Yes, it's very dark, and so far none of our direct neighbors have reported any damage that I've heard.
Oh, thank God for that. Well, we'll be in touch with you too, sir, and good luck to you. Sergeant Austin Cody of the Air Police Department. They're watching the sky very carefully and monitoring the situation, and I'll let you get back to work, and we'll be in touch, and hope everybody in air is going to come through this just fine, which I'm sure they will with some good precautions.
Thank you, Jack. Take care of yourself.
Okay, Sergeant. So the situation is this is, as most of you know who've gone up there and spent so much time, a number of people commute from that area, of course, into Boston. Others of us who enjoyed going along Route 2, especially at a time of the foliage turning and all, a beautiful part of our state. And this is a cell. Now, bring in Todd again, too, with your information that you have. Todd, is this breaking up at all compared to what it was, or is this holding together?
No, Jack, you're making a very good observation right there. In fact, the storm is actually broken into 2 pieces. The one that has the tornado warning on it still until 8:30 is this cell right here. It actually broke into 2 pieces, this one here and this one back through Ashburnham and also Fitchburg and Leominster. And this cell back here, where the storm actually already crossed over, is now refiring. I'm being worried that this is not making television. I don't, it should be. Anyways, this particular cell right here is also has a warning on it from the National Weather Service, a severe thunderstorm warning. A severe thunderstorm warning. This cell now it's broken into 2, capable of producing winds in excess of 60 miles per hour and quarter-sized hail, developed over the same towns that had the tornado warning for the prior cell. And it's moving in a more easterly fashion at 25 miles per hour. So it looks like this one will hold together better over Leominster and Fitchburg, and perhaps hit places like Lunenburg and Shirley, where we just spoke to a viewer, Ayer and Groton. That's over here, right here. Here's Groton, here's Ayer, Lunenburg. So this storm is moving to the east at about 25 miles per hour. And capable of producing damaging straight-line winds. As of right now, Doppler radar is not indicating any rotation within that storm. It's still indicating rotation within this one. But a good sign here is that it is. So maybe this is going to start to bow out a little bit, And when you see any kind of sign of bowing, that's an indication of more straight line wind damage and not the turbulent wind flow that would create a tornado, Jack.
Yeah, we've got Peter Judge on the line now from MEMA, Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency. Peter, welcome. And I'm sure you've been getting a number of reports of problems and damage. What have you heard?
Well, Jack, we've been doing call-arounds to all of those communities, the northern tier of the state. Fortunately, at this point, it doesn't look like there's been a great amount of severe damage. We're getting reports of, some lines being down, trees being down, some lightning strikes. But at this point, we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed as far as something major occurring.
Yeah, you haven't heard anything about a tornado touching down anywhere.
We have no confirmation about that. We've kind of heard the same, talk that you have, but we've yet to hear a real confirmation.
It's interesting, Peter, we've been through this before, but this is somewhat a rarity, isn't it, what we're seeing tonight?
Yes, it is, particularly this, late in the day. I mean, we've seen some of these events like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, with the real heat and those sorts of things. But these things are starting to pop up later and later and being more severe.
Yeah, in my years here, I don't remember quite this long a stretch of extremely humid, hot weather that we've had. It does feel like the Midwest in many ways, and of course we know there that they have a lot more storms than we do, but I guess we're being initiated into the group with this. Well, Peter, keep an eye on things. We'll be back in touch with you. If there's anything else you want to add?
No, other than if you're in the area, the northern tier of the state, now's not a good time to go at the yard and kind of look for things. Stay inside, stay away from windows, stay in a low point in your home if you think the storm is kicking up in your area.
Peter Judge from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency. Thanks a million, Peter. We'll be talking to you later.
Okay, Jack.
All right, now we're watching the radar, and again, you can see air almost in the middle of your screen. We talked to the Air Police Department. They just had extremely heavy rain there, but as Todd pointed out, after this cell, it was like a supercell, is like broken in two, but the one in furthest back to the west, now over Leominster, seems to be firing up a bit more and is heading east, would be heading toward the air area. Meanwhile, this other cell that is still for 15 minutes a tornado warning as this comes down as it gets nearer to 495. And there's still an awful lot of lightning. Are you observing anything or getting other late reports in there, Todd, on what's happening at this very moment?
We just got a damage report from the National Weather Service from the Skywarn Spotter Network. We spoke to Carl a little while ago, about a half an hour ago, and he heads up some of the great people that make up the Skywarn Spotter Network. We have a report out of Ashburnham of thunderstorm wind damage, and basically they say in South Ashburnham there are multiple trees and wires down with road closures right now on Central Street between Pleasant and School Streets. So apparently the road is closed right now on Central Street between Pleasant and School Streets. That's in South Ashburnham. And there's also a report of a tree down on a house on Westminster Street, also in Ashburnham. And in Westminster, which is in northern Worcester County, there are also reports of wires down on Wyman Road and numerous power outages in that area as well, Jack.
Yeah, we've got Carl Aveni has rejoined us again with the Skywarn Network. And Carl, what are you finding? You know you're going back to get a listen and try to find some more details for us. What have you found?
Yes, Jack. The Ashburnham area, South Ashburnham, is the huge area that got hammered by this storm right now. As the previous caller mentioned, that whole area is Central Street, Westminster Street, Pleasant Street, multiple trees and wires down. Also got reports of a garage in Leominster that got hit by lightning, and reports of pea-sized hail in Leominster